How's it going, guys? I'm gonna attempt to pick up where I left off last time, because last time I was uploading every day, and then this time I didn't do the same thing. So there was only 37 days or something like that between that event and then this most recent one that we just did, so there's just no time because the transmission was broken, and then I also had to find more time in the car and make it faster. So I'm gonna walk you through the car stuff and what I did to make it faster. But first, yeah, the gearbox was blown, or broke third more specifically. It's somewhere in this little graveyard of stuff, but anyway, you know what a shredded gear looks like. And then you remember, maybe I was saying that the teeth don't actually line up perfectly with third gear, and that's so that there's enough room for the slider to go down into the synchro ring. So I put another exact same third gear in it, same ratio, the 1.12, the tall third. That was good for the track. It's my last one, but I actually had a shim machined. I forget the actual thickness, I have it written down somewhere, but it's around like 80 thousandths ish, 70 something thousandths. So then the teeth are actually fully engaged, and I had to grind the slider down so it clears, and like clearance the fork and all that stuff to get it to work. So a third would be just a little bit stronger, maybe it will last a bit longer, but turns out that was the case. Everything was good there, no problem. So the car is fixed. There's no need to change the tune to make more power, because again, we're running into drivetrain strength issues. So what I did was leave the tune the same, hoping that the weather would be a lot warmer so that we get less power, so that it would just balance everything out, right? But the weather was actually a little bit cooler, I think. It's July, the 1st of July. For some reason it was like below 20 degrees for some of the day, so that's funny. So we actually got more power this time. So the car actually hit 269, its best speed, but it just wasn't in good shape, and I'll get into it in a second. But other than that, the hood's still on it, so I'll take that off in a sec. But here's what I actually changed to make it better. So these vents weren't there before. Calling them vents, they're literally just holes. I just cut them in a stylish way. So if you remember, the shock was actually overheating and just getting super bouncy. Maybe 2 or 3 laps into a session. That's because all the heat from this exhaust being here is getting trapped in the wheel well. So of course, vents like these are meant to get rid of wheel wake, and then, you know, where I positioned them, the low pressure air washing over the side should pull air out of it. So this should help cool the shock. And then also, you notice the exhaust is wrapped under there. I'll pull the hood off in a second. So I just mashed it on the other side for aesthetics, but now this one's actually venting the tire wake, or sorry, the high pressure from the tire, excuse me. But yeah, it's starting to rain now, but it's okay. I'm just gonna continue this video. So the hood's off, everything's the same under here, except you notice the wrapped exhaust. I also realized after that last event, the extra wastegate here actually blocks off where the fender had that opening so that air could actually escape, right? So this whole thing is just almost flush with the fender, and all the hot air is just getting trapped in there. So another reason why I needed vents in that spot. But I added this weird looking duct. You'll see it comes from the front of the car, probably the highest pressure zone on the car, and it's blowing air, number 1 at the gearbox, and number 2 up into the strut tower area. So just in an effort to get more airflow in this region, because again, when you're going 260, almost 270, there's a lot of air blowing up in there, so it gives it a good chance to cool off. So the gearbox didn't blow up this time, so the transmission cooling might have did something, so maybe it's for the better. Anyway, that's kind of it for changes under the hood. But if you remember last time, I was complaining about a vibration. So what was happening was the tire was actually slipping on the rim, and then of course when the tire moves, now the wheel weights are in the wrong position. So when you have a tire this big on the front of your car with a 40mm spacer. So it's basically zero offset, and your wheel goes off balance. It literally feels like the wheel's gonna fall off. So both front sides slipped, and they might have done a couple rotations because it felt balanced again and then it felt imbalanced again. So what I did was had my buddy at the tire shop break the beads, and then we literally glued the beads on. You can actually see a little bit of glue peeking out there. And guess what? The tire still moved just a little. So that red mark was where the valve stem was, and it moved just a little, but it's just proves that it was basically spinning before. So again, I had those tires freshly mounted and just threw them on the car and then went to the event, right? Maybe the lubricant that they used to mount them needed more time to dry out, but you know, it wasn't going to get that time anyway. So that fixed our wheel vibration. The CV boot that ripped last time, it's because the clamp caught on the strut. Put a new boot on it, but also rebuilt the CV because it was filled with tire rubber since the boot ripped. So crazy stuff happens. So other than that, car looks sort of the same, but if you have a keen eye, or if you've seen pictures, I actually changed the end plates on the wing for lower drag, and I actually sealed these solid to the wing with polyurethane so they don't flex and leak. So, and then did a nice countersink on these bolts too. So in effort to reduce drag, I did that, because the other end plates are great if you need maximum downforce, right? But because they're curved, that means they have some extra frontal area, which is going to cause drag. So I'm happy with the way these came out. Shout out to Spage for having just a beautiful split weave 4x4 piece of carbon fiber just laying around the shop that I could just take and cut end plates out of. So there's that. And then I've had this idea for a while now. I was always kind of worried about the rear tire wake getting trapped behind the rear tire and causing drag and not really doing anything. So I added this panel right here just to basically allow the air going around the wheel to just recombine with the air behind the car and actually blend with the diffuser, and then any air that's going in between the side of the diffuser, the end fence, and the wheel to exit through here as well. So basically just manages the wake of the car a bit better. It gives a bit more of a cleaner flow and then reduces drag. So that was the idea there. And then again, the car wasn't running the best and it had its highest top speeds ever. So also another change might be due to the fact that I deleted the mirrors. So since this is time attack, you really don't actually need mirrors in unlimited class other than for driver comfort. So I just took them off. So that's why the car looks so slick and narrow and streamlined. So you can see there's just a nice straight shot down the side of the car to the wing. So the flow is just absolutely cleaned up going towards this wing down the side of the car. So that was basically it for upgrades in between these two events. I scraped the front and the rear tires, got the rear tires so clean. It's funny, the rear tires really don't actually wear. They just kind of pick up rubber off the track. Obviously this is a bit of wear, but most of it is pickup. So once you scrape these, you can still see the brand new lines in the tire, and then it's really sticky underneath. So tire pickup, you know, that's somebody's all seasons, that's Nankang rubber, you know, from our compound, other tires or something. Basically it's not my rubber that it's picking up on the track. So of course picking up rubber that's not as sticky and then driving on it is not ideal. So scraping your tires is always worth it for the little bit of extra grip that you would get. Another important upgrade is this plate beside the gas pedal. So since this car has no center console, there's nothing for me to rest my foot against. So the issue I'm having is in some corners it literally feels like my foot's gonna fly off the gas because, again, no traction control, nothing. So I really have to modulate the throttle to, you know, get what I need from the car. So it's hard to do if your foot's falling off the pedal and you have nothing to rest it against. So that's what that's for. and I really like it. It's so good. Also, I did like small stuff, like adjusted my harness and then made sure it felt a bit better, because I couldn't actually put my knees together with the way the harness was set up before. So now I can, so it makes heel toe a lot easier. It just makes driving way easier. So small stuff like that actually goes a long way. And now it's raining pretty hard, so I think I'm gonna break this off into a separate video, and then I'll talk about how the race actually went in the next one.